aggressive.
Oh, there's the flag.
Engage from White. He gets frozen too
Oh,
down, knocks
he's
up
so
as well.
squishy.
Invisibly moves up as well. They get the kill. They're going in for more. It's straight in back. Tiny Blue picks up Love, but Assault and Battery on 2. Is that the kick? He
Yes, it is.
double kill.
Esports, also known as electronic sports, is a term for organised multiplayer video game competitions between professional players. What started off as a small gathering of players and a desired game has rapidly grown into a billion-dollar industry and set to be played at the summer Rio Olympics. The most common of these esports is League of Legends, a multi-online battle arena game which consists of 2 teams of 5, with each player having a role on each team, similar to football. As well as this, each team will have a coach, a team of analysts and a manager who will support the professional players from the sidelines. At the heart of the British League of Legends scene is the National University of Esports League, which has over 333 teams of 5 competing to put their university on top.
So the National University Esports League is the UK's inter-university competitive video games league. So we help societies and universities bring their teams together of players who are interested in competing and representing their university and organise a nationwide tournament for them. Esports just keeps growing at a tremendous rate. Like over the last few years, we not only sort of see more games that are getting higher viewing figures, larger number of people wanting to play competitively. We're also starting to see more money in the industry, more sort of bigger brands and people who are have not come from the esports industry but come from outside industries, bringing their expertise and their knowledge.
At this year's National University Esports League's finals was between the Cambridge Dongers and the underdogs Yash and Aunties, who would compete in a best of 5 to take home the title. It was quite evident who the favourites were.
So who are you here today to support?
Aston Aunties. My boy Marcus, MSR.
MSR, man. Are they going to win?
Most definitely.
People are doubting them. They're saying the other team's got like 3 Korean imports. But we all saw what happened in the first game.
Have to fight with Mazmin K. Lustig is in position. Shields, please. He gets 1. He gets 2. Oh my God. MSI is still alive. Chestbridge is the only surviving member on the side of Cambridge. They're going to take the second inhibitor. Well. There we go. Maddie Tricep secures the ace. 2 inhibitors down. That's got to be the game for Aston University.
Not only did they win the crowd, the Yash and Aunties won the game with a decisive 3-1 victory, being crowned the best university team in the country. Like regular athletes, Captain MSR, or Marcus to his friends, will train on a daily basis to achieve the high standard of muscle memory and understanding of the upcoming opponents.
We try to train most of the day, so when everyone finishes uni about 5 o'clock, we'll play until early hours of the morning, like 2, 3 o'clock, and then do the same every day.
We've been practicing a few days this week, so we've been discussing quite a lot about what picks and things we're going to do, strategy and stuff. But we find it difficult to find the time to actually practice.
So I think there is similarities between people who compete in esports and sort of regular sports athletes. To be at the top of your game in esports, you've got to put the practice in. You've got to train well. You've got to understand the game that you're playing, but you've also got to keep yourself fit and sort of building those habits and make those sacrifices that these athletes have to as well. The big difference is that you're not necessarily running around or doing any sort of physical activity as an esports athlete, but the sort of the mental aspect is very much there.
I think they're a lot more similar than a lot of people realise. Obviously regular athletes, it's much more physical, but there is a huge mental aspect as well. There's a huge psychological aspect of getting into the zone, and all of that totally applies to esports. And just the amount of effort and training that they have to put in to stay on top is incredible, really.
At the forefront of esports success is the online streaming service Twitch, which was recently bought by Amazon for $1 billion and allows professional players and fans to be in typing distance of each other. For a small donation fee, you can ask the player behind the screen a direct question about the game. Other than Twitter, mainstream sports have no real way of doing this.
I think Twitch has been really important for esports. It's a really easy way for people to access what pro players are doing. Raises their profile, and that kind of gets people excited about the different personalities who are involved in the game.
Yeah, so I think Twitch is really made esports so much more accessible to people, and it's created a really important revenue stream as well, which I think has been one of the massive paradigm shifts that have happened in esports in recent time. Now people can, millions of people can quite easily go to one place and start watching esports tournaments and watching competitions and stuff, which is something that you couldn't easily do beforehand. So that's tremendous for the tournament organisers and the fans that want to get involved and want to watch, but also for the tournament organisers, and probably more so for the famous players and celebrities and stars that exist within esports. Now they've got a much more reliable revenue stream.
But why did Amazon spend $1 billion on this relatively unheard of site? Viewing figures. During the Season 3 World League of Legends Championship, the stream reached a live peak of 8.2 million viewers, and 32 million overall. In retrospect, the British Royal Wedding only pulled in 300,000 current viewers, with the Olympics not far ahead with 500,000. But viewing figures aren't everything. As esports progresses, so too does the demand to get esports recognised as a sport. ESPN, one of America's biggest sports sites, has recruited a new number of staff and opened their own esports content during a time of cutbacks. Although, ESPN boss John Skipper has shot down esports on a number of occasions, claiming it's not a sport, it's a competition. Chess is a competition, checkers is a competition. Mostly I'm interested in doing real sports. But not everyone agrees.
Just because it's not something that you're physically doing, you're still having to work on perfecting a technique or a strategy. So in that sense, it is a sport and it's relevant. And I think sports can be whatever you want it to be. If you're doing it at a competitive level, then technically it's a sport, whether it's done via a different medium or not.
I think it should be, yeah. And they put so much into it, and it really takes a crazy level of dedication, training, and hard work in the same way as the sport does, more conventional sport.
I think the argument about esports becoming a sport or not is pretty irrelevant. I don't think it needs to be classed as a sport, and I don't think it ever will be classed as a sport, because of at what point does something get classed as a sport? If one body recognises it, then it doesn't necessarily mean people accept it for what it is. For me, a sport gets validated by its fans and the people that are participating in it. We've got millions of fans and lots of people participating and getting really involved and engaged in esports. So I don't feel like we need any sort of official body to sort of wave a magic wand and say you're now a sport.
Esport or sport, competitive gaming as a culture is gaining more momentum every day, surpassing traditional sports in prize pools and viewing figures. As the demonisation of gaming and nerd culture breaks down and the industry set to double in value in 3 years' time, traditional sports have no choice but to share the limelight with its electronic counterpart.